Hello guys, Andrew or CF12 here, and today I'm going to be making a tutorial on how to make how I make Sparta remixes like this one. We're going to be doing like the pitches, the visuals, we're going to be doing everything. This is kind of like a beginner's learning thing for people who want to join the Sparta Remix community, don't know how to do it. So today we're going to be using Vegas Pro 18 and Melodyne. None of the FL Studio, nothing like that yet. So let's go ahead and open up Vegas Pro 18. No, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Alright, so let's assume you already have a bass. Sounds good. And you have a source.
Oh, to number one in sports. However,
okay, so I had to do a microphone change because the other microphone wasn't cutting it. Hopefully this sounds a lot better. Anyways, first you want to do is you want to bring up a beat tapper. You just look one up on Google. This is what I use, so let's do that. Don't mind the ads and whatnot, but this is how you get your tempo of your Sparta remix if it's not listed in the description or anywhere in the comments. So from there, we know that this bass is 120 beats a minute. So we're going to go into our settings, project settings, go to ruler, make sure this is set to measures and beats. We're going to go down here to beats per minute. Set that to 120 beats per minute. Now your beats per measure is typically 4, since most time code for Sparta remixes is 4 beats a minute, or not 4 beats a minute, but 4 beats a bar. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Starts over 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of standard for a lot of music. Now, the notes that you want to be on beat, you want to set that to quarter. And if you want all projects to start like this, I will say typically Sparta remixes are 140 beats a minute, but this is a slower bass, so we're going to change it to 120. And then you want to go down here, start our projects with these settings. So every single project you're going to open is going to be 120 beats a minute, 4 beats a bar, and yeah. Now your resolution, 1920 by 1080. Typically I set mine to 60 frames a second or 59.940. So let's go ahead and save this tutorial. Alright, so you have your bass and then you have your source. Now if you use your arrow keys and start moving over, you're gonna be like, wait, why is this arrow, why can't I never be on time? And everything looks like it's like slightly off. This is from starting from brand new Vegas Pro 18. So you go through, everything looks off because it's quantizing to your 60 frames a second or however many frames a second you have. So you want to go up here to the top, hit option. You want to turn off quantized frames. That is the biggest thing that you need to do. So then you can go anywhere you want on your project and not be limited to your frames a second. Next you want to do is you want to enable your snapping, because if you don't have snapping on, you can never really get it on time. So you want to turn on snapping, enable snapping, then you want to keep on snap to grid, snap to markers, and snap to all events. This allows you to select one of these lines, you can split it, and then if you bring it to over here, you can snap to these markers, or if you have 2 events right here, you can snap it to an event if it's slightly off like that, if you need to, for whatever reason. And yeah, that's what that does. Another thing is, ignore event grouping. This is very important in my opinion. So if you turn that on, it allows you to move your video away from your audio. So you can have 2 separate things instead of 1 block of thing. Let me just give an example. So if you turn it off, oh well. Typically, if you turn it on, then you can move your video and then audio around separately. So, since you got your bass, you want to find your pitching. This is episode 1, starts and pitching. So, let's go in. Let's find a pitch. What you want to do is typically look for like some longer note that would make sense for a pitch. I found my pitch. So what you want to do is to split it like that, you just press S. S is to split. You Control C, come over here to an outside source or an outside of the project, Control V, hold Control to stretch it out a little bit so you can get a good pitch. You hold down on your mouse, select the area, then you come up here to render. Now once this pop up, you're gonna have a bunch of different options. What you want is to go up here to your filters, turn on your audio templates only, and you want to do AIFF audio, the audio interchange file format. Then you want to press on default, name it whatever you want. I'm going to name mine Mark Pitch, and render. Now it's going to render. Usually there's a window that pops up, but I have mine set to automatically open the folder after it's done. Next you want to do is you want to go down here and open up Melodyne. Now once Melodyne opens, it looks a bit like this. You want to take your audio file, bring it over to Melodyne, and then you want to zoom in on it because, you know, that makes it easy. So what you want to do is right click, hold it down, go to your pitch tool, select your audio, double click, and it corrects your pitch to the right note. Hold down right click again, go to your pitch modulation tool, which is right under the pitch tool, double click to smooth it out. You want to go down to your pitch drift tool and double click. And from there, play back your audio. Ding, 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 ding. Sounds good. Now, you want to go back to your project, find out the note that your Sparta remix bass is in. You can do this by ear, honestly, so you can like play the start of the 4 beats, which is right there. Let me line this up with the beats. Alright, now this is lined up with your first beat. Now, you want to go to here a little bit into the beat because there might be an intro or something like that to your bass. And you just want to put it on repeat. You also want to click down here on your loop playback, turn that on, and start. So now that you found your first beat on your remix where the pitch resets back to the first note, then you want to go to your Melodyne, put this on repeat, and then go to your Melodyne and line it up. This is how you do it by ear. Alright, now you want to go back to Melodyne, hold down your right click, go to your timing tool, and then you want to stretch out the audio to get that nice smooth pitch. Now you can go longer if you want, but it might sound a little more weird. But this is how I do it. Now, you want to go to your format tool, bring it. Your format tool changes how it sounds. So if I bring it up like this, sounds like it brings out the clearer tones. If you bring it down a bit, then it might sound like you're bringing out the more like undertones. Like it makes it sound smoother and like it's better for like bass notes. So here we're just gonna make our melody note, which you'll see here in a second what that is. So you're gonna go to your file, save. You have to name it something else, you know. So I'm just gonna add an extra H. So let's save that. Then you find where you save it at. I'm not gonna show where I save mine at, only because privacy reasons. And then you want to go back to your Vegas Pro. Find where your bass starts. And then you want to put your pitch there and then cut it down to the length you want it. So this is the first note. This is your 4 beats to it resets. There we go. There's your 4 notes to it resets. So if you keep that looping, it sounds like it just goes together. So what you want to do? Okay, so some of a huge important step that I forgot to mention is if you go here to more on your volume or your audios, go to more, active, take information. This shows you your pitching and everything. I forgot to mention that. Is your next note. You can play this by ear. So you use your plus and minus to change the pitch. So +1 is typically what a Sparta remix bass is. So 0, 1, -2, up 1. So 0 + 1 -2 + 1. So let's hear what this sounds like. Also, to select it multiple times like this, just hold down Control and click. Or you can also go down to your select tool and select it all. That sounds great. Now, something else you want to do is if you want to add like a reverb to make it sound nicer, you want to go to your track FX, press your plus, and then go down to EFX reverb. Now this is what I use. This is what sounds best to me. Click OK. And then you have a bunch of different things you can choose from. Just pick and choose whichever one sounds best to you. Don't have too much reverb or else it might sound pretty bad. So let's see what large concert hall sounds like. See, it's a very subtle, low reverb. So let's turn down this track a bit so it isn't overpowering everything, and let's hear how that sounds. Sounds super good. So now you want to go to your track EQ. If you want to make it sound clear, you bring up the higher frequencies on your audio. So let's just hear what that sounds like. Bring it down. You can hear it doesn't sound as clear. So let's just keep it at normal for now. Just keep everything normal for right now. We will tweak those later. So what you want to do is come here, press duplicate track. Now this is easy for making pitches, at least to me, if you want to make them different octaves and stuff like that. So we're going to harmonize these. So what you're going to do is go up 3. This is typical for most Sparta remixes that has the same pattern. Go up 3, and then those that are up 1 pitch, put them up 2 pitches. So it's 3 + 3 + 5 + 1 + 5. So it should sound a bit like this. Great. Now you have your first set of pitches. Now, since this remix is very repetitive, I will say, you can just copy this throughout almost the entire thing. You just gotta listen for it. So, since there is a higher note that you could hear in this bass, in that harmony, you also want to copy, duplicate your track again, and then this time, instead of going up 3, you want to go up 7. Now, if you go back and listen to this, sounds great. Now, what you want to do is find your video that you used. That's not it. Find the video that you used for your pitch, copy it, bring it back over, put it with it. So here you have your pitch and everything. So now I know there is other tutorials on YouTube for this. I'm not going to use it. There is a lot of people who use, where is it? Horizontal flipping scripts. Today, I am not going to use it. We're just going to make everything by scratch from Melodyne and Vegas Pro. So now that you have your pitch, let's put your visuals to it. You want to select here, copy it, and then you want to right click. Actually, hold up. Let me back up a little bit. You want to click this little thing that looks like your event pan and cropping. You will right click, flip horizontal, and there you go. That's all you need to do. Or you can go to your video, right click on it, and go up here to your video event pan and crop. So since you have that, hold Control, select both, and just paste it. Looks and sounds great. Now, let's make a few more pitches. Let's do a bass pitch. Usually you want to find a U sound like an or an O. Makes some of the best basses. So let's go find that real quick. Here's a pitch. So let's go ahead. Get that over here. There we go. That should sound good. Stretch it out a little bit. And then render it under your audio. I'm just going to call it bass. And what you want to do is restart your Melodyne just to open a new project. And bring your pitch over here. And we're just going to do the same steps that we did earlier with your melody pitch. Or your harmony pitch, I mean. Now, you can use your pitching tool. We're going to find the pitch of the bass again. Get your main pitch. So it looks like we're already on pitch. So what you do is take your pitching tool, bring it down an octave. Take your format tool. And smooth it out. Now, and you do that under your format tool, and then you just lower it. There you go. And now you have your bass pitch. Let's save it. Bass. And now let's go back. Copy your... I gotta find it again.
You guys beat Joe.
Right, now go back. Copy that. You want to right click in your empty space over here under your tracks. Create an audio track. Drag it down. And then create a video track. Or an audio track and a video track. Now you have an audio and video track. Copy your video, paste it, and bring over your bass pitch sample. Now, what you want to do is go to your More, go to your track FX, bring all the way down your highest frequencies, bring up your low frequencies. That should make the bass sound so much better. Now, what you want to do is go back to your bass, solo your track, and listen to it. So as you can hear, bass starts right here. And there's a gap right here. And there you go. Now, check this out. To go up an octave like that, you hold shift and then you press your plus button and you go up an octave. So plus 12. Now, let's hear how this sounds. Sounds good. Now, if you want to make it sound a little bit bassier, you can by going down an octave, and sometimes it might sound weird, sometimes it might not. So let's just hear how this sounds. It sounds a little weird. It sounds like there's a lot of higher frequencies still. So let's bring it down further and turn your roll off all the way up. Sounds really good. Now, just follow the bass line in your remix bass. You can go by ear. That seems to be easiest for me. So yeah, let's create our bass line real quick. Okay, so some of a huge important step that I forgot to mention is if you go here to More on your volume or your audios, go to More, Active, Take Information. This shows you your pitching and everything. I forgot to mention that. Now that you have your bass line, make sure your visuals are good. Now, if you want to show if you want to show this in black and white, go to your three dots on More, Track FX on your video. I have all these plugins, I know. But you go here, and then you go to black and white. There you go. You have your black and white visuals. Now, if you want to get fancy with it, with your bass line, you could always just do whatever like freestyling you want as long as it stays within your note range. So let's just make a little something real quick. And now what you want to do is just copy and paste. Your visuals look better, just extend it all the way to your next. Oh, don't double click like I did. If you double click on your video, then it just brings up this weird menu that I never use. Anyways, just to return, you just double click again. So just extend your audios, or your videos, I mean, all the way. Don't extend your audios. You want those cuts. And now your video would look like this. Now let's listen to it all together. And then you can just adjust your audios from there. Alright, now you are done with your pitches. Well, you're not done with your pitches, you have to go all the way through the bass. But for right now, as an example, I'm just doing this portion right here. So let's make an intro. So all it is just this first pitch, just done like that. And then it cuts off about halfway, which is that. And then it repeats quieter. And then what you can do is select them both. You see these little things right here? Drag that all the way. And now they will fall in volume. Or you can just not have the second one there at all. Now that you know the basics of pitching, I'm going to make a few more pitches off camera to make it sound much better. Off camera, off recording. And another thing with having your visuals looking like this, like full screen like that, with having it full screen like that, it helps with really awesome and cool visuals, like I showed you in the beginning of this video. Okay, so now if you want to make a delay or like a nice stereo delay, you go to EFX stereo delay. Okay, just find what's best for your audio. And there's also a bunch of things to choose from too. If you don't feel like making your own, there's a lot to choose from. So since that is too loud, you can turn your mix down. Definitely do your tempo sync. Tempo sync sounds great. And now you have a good stereo delay, and it sounds great. I'm gonna make this bit smooth or a bit higher in your frequency. Sounds great. Now let's fix this up a little bit. Now, since this is off, my pitching was a little off for this one, but that's okay. That's always fixable. razzle it up a little bit. And basically you can just go by ear on how you want it to sound. And then you can do a lot with your pitching, which is amazing. Better it sounds, or you know how it is. Better it sounds, you probably like it more to yourself. And yeah, so you can add a fourth one if you want, if you're using this bass. So it sounds a bit like this. Now, if you want fun visual effects, we're not doing like the movement and stuff quite yet. We will make that in the next part. But you duplicate your track, go here, track motion, and this little window will pop up. You just make it smaller, and then you right click on it, flip horizontal, and now you have another layer of video. And you can do that again if you want. So since you have 3 tracks, you have 3 tracks of video, and you have 3 separate layers of video that you can now use for your chord or for your melody pitching. Sounds amazing. So let's hear it all together. And there you go. You have a really nice set of pitches. And then you can go through, add more if you want, go crazy with it. It's all fun. You just go crazy with it if you want. Just make sure it sounds great like that and not off key. Alright, so let's add a few more pitches. Let's just do a simple 0-12 bass pitch. So let's go make that real quick. Now here is a good example of adding too many pitches to a certain thing. So like this bass pitch that I have, it just sounds like it's doing too much, so you can just remove that. going ahead and making some changes to this pitch, this one. So I'm going to go through, take out the 012, and then just copy this again. So it sounds like this. Sounds very cool. And then I'm going to add a little bit of reverb to it. Not the right reverb. The good reverb. There we go. Let's see how this would sound if it's pitched up. Oh, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and change this one a little bit. Let's copy it. Your bass pitch starts right there, so just go through, delete that, and then paste it with your new pattern. And it should sound like this, all together. Let's raise that pitch up a bit, the last two. Ooh, that sounds really good. So yeah, there is some really good pitch tips if you want to make like a really good sounding pitch that stands out. Alright, so now that you got your pitches all set, next will be the visuals. But I will do that in part 2 on how to make a Sparta remix. Make sure to save.